Hey, hey. How's everybody doing? Hey, everybody. How you doing? How's everyone? Hello, 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 and hello. Listen, it's different tonight. It's Friday night. We're still here. I am so happy to be here. Let me take a little bit of this reverb off of my voice, a little bit off, a little bit off, a little bit on. Listen, I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. It's a Friday night here at Bravo with Sheila on the Sheila Ingram Bravo Network. That's right. That's right. That's right. It's a great day here on the East Coast. Well, it was kind of rainy and stormy today, but it's all good because we are here and we are here and we're ready to have a wonderful time tonight. I'm so excited. I've been so excited about this particular topic, this show, the panel of women that's coming on to talk about this incredible, I don't even want to set it up. I don't even want to set this thing up. I'm telling you, it's going to be hot tonight. When I say hot, and more than one way, because this conversation is up close, personal, live, and real. It's real talk tonight with these group of women. Lisa Banks is no stranger to the platform. She's the great producer, writer, singer. You just want to add. She's just a talented something. You hear me? God has packaged her well. Welcome to all of you in the chat. Got my number one bravette here, my moderator, my girl. And Nania is in the house running the board and just being present like she always is. We have so many people. We'll greet everyone. Those of you up in the bleachers, those of you up in the balcony, or you may have an expensive seat in the orchestra. Welcome. I hope that you hit that thumbs up button when you came in. That thumbs up means a lot to us YouTube people in these YouTube streets. It helps pushes the content along. It pushes and triggers that algorithm. So go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, come on and join us. Join the Bravo Nation. Join us as we bring you incredible content. You know what I want you to do is give yourself a bravo just because. And you do not need permission. I said it. Go ahead and do it. You don't need nobody to give you a standing ovation. Give yourself a standing ovation. Nobody knows what you're going through in your life, so I'm giving you a bravo today. Listen, we're having a little bit of difficulty, not much. We have some of the women in the backstage that we're going to be chatting with, and some of the other women we're having just a little bit of problems getting on, but we are going to have a great, let me not tell you, this discussion, I think this is going to be the hottest discussion that we've ever had on my channel. I really do. I really believe it's going to be a discussion like no other. And so I'm just glad that you're here. I am super excited about the conversation. I was going to attempt to set up what was going to be talked about, but the title itself, the thumbnail itself, kind of speaks for itself. It's the unspoken discussion. Unspoken discussion. And you see dot, and it says HER, her. That should tell you a hint. She talk and more. Listen, I'm telling you, you getting ready. You're in for it tonight. We're opening it up. We're opening up the borders on the Bravo platform tonight, because Lisa is one that thinks of so many different things to write about and to share, but all of her topics are noteworthy. All of her topics are very, very important to people in general and a relationship. And she doesn't hold back. She's just very raw and she gives it to you the way she gets it. And so we're going to have a great time. I see my co-host is inside of the chat, Dawn Brathwaite. I'm so glad you're here, co-host. And we got Rosa Griffin, Pastor Rosa, in the chat. We got girls popping in. Okay, Shanice just popped in. I see her. She's backstage. We got a Jasmine James in the house. We got those of you up in the bleachers. Listen, I'm so glad that you guys are here. I'm happy to be here to host this tonight. And this is just one of many things that we're going to do, movies, because it is a movie. This is one of many that's coming. We already did Stevie. Those of you who have not seen Stevie need to get into the YouTube streets and go on over there and let your fingers hit Stevie and like and subscribe to the channel. But Stevie is a tear jerker. I was able to play the mother of Stevie. I had a good time with it. It was incredible. But tonight it's a whole nother. I tell you, Lisa's going to be bang, bang. She's just dropping them. She's dropping them. So you know what we're going to do? Let's open up this show officially. Stay right there. It's time for Bravo with Sheila, a place to be enlightened, a place to be built up, and always a place to remember that when nothing changes, nothing changes. All right. We are back. We are back. We are back. And you know that when nothing changes, nothing changes. And that's what we're about tonight. And every time we're here on the Bravo network on Thursday, you missed a great show last night with my co-host who has her Thursday night here on the network last night. And she's every Thursday, 7 p.m. You can catch Dawn B here. Dawn B and friends, Dawn B by herself. Last night, she did part 3 of Redeeming Me. And they did it. They did it. Last night was awesome. So stay tuned to the network. Remember that when nothing changes, nothing changes. Also, remember that if you hit that thumbs up, it's free 99. It is free 99. So go ahead and hit that thumbs up and help push us through. I can't wait. I'm not going to set it up anymore. I want to bring the ladies that are here to the platform so that I'm going to yield a lot tonight because they have a lot to talk about. This particular movie is so powerful. I remember the script because I remember reading the script, and I'm telling you, it has blossomed way above what I saw and what I was reading back a couple of years ago. These ladies are doing an incredible job and have done an incredible job. So without further ado, I want to bring the producer, the director, let's just bring her up. She's the everything girl. She is behind the avatar tonight, but she's in the house. Lisa Banks.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, Sheila.
Hi, Lisa Banks.
How you doing, Weezy? You gotta let everybody know, Sheila, why I call you Weezy.
You tell them why you call me Weezy.
Well, y'all, let me just say, I call Sheila the great Miss Sheila Ingram Weezy because I have a musical I wrote. And hopefully we can do it prayerfully, see what COVID does. But Sheila was going to play a part, my sister, and I called her Weezy. So I still call her Weezy. But I want to first thank you so much, Sheila, for allowing me and my castmates to be on. We are excited to talk about a movie that I wrote called Unspoken Discussion, Her. And for those of you who would like to tune into it, it's on the YouTube. And it's called Unspoken Discussion, Her. But prayerfully next year, we will be actually filming the movie.
All right.
For real. Sorry that I can't, show my face, but one day I'll be
that's
on.
All right, because that's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to bring your cast up, and I'm going to show them. How about that? We got Tammy in the house.
Talk about the cast. Let's talk about the cast. Okay, cast member, introduce yourself and let everybody know the part that you play.
Hi, if it's on me, I'm Tammy
Wait a
Mans
minute.
and
Where did she go?
can you
Hold
hear
Tammy.
on,
me?
Tammy. Hold on,
Okay,
Tammy. Hold on.
Well, let
Hold
me
on,
talk
Tammy.
while you're doing that. So
okay.
let me just introduce my
Oh,
cast
there
members.
she is. Go ahead,
These one.
introduce them and I'll bring
Okay.
them up. Go ahead.
All right. So in there are five women, just to give you a backstory, and then I'll introduce them. And these five women are
Okay.
friends, and they go over to their girlfriend Maureen's house, and there is a snowstorm, and they're stuck there. And because they are there, personal things about each one of their lives they start discussing. At times it gets tense, but let me introduce the ladies. I'm not going to tell everybody what went on so that people know how this interview is going to go. We don't want to tell you everything that's going on, but we will let you know each cast member and what their plight was in the movie. So first we have Miss Tammy Mans, and Tammy played the role of Diamond. Say hi, Tammy.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be on the show with you, Miss Sheila.
Oh, welcome.
Okay, and then we have, I believe, Christine. Are you on? Okay, well, we have Miss Christine Cheney, and Christine plays the role of Deja. And then we have, let's see, we have Renee. I play Renee. We have Shanice, played by Miss Deborah Dupree. Deborah, are you on? Okay, they might be
We
having
got
problems.
Tammy. We got Tammy. We got Christine. We got Shanice, and we got Jasmine.
Okay, for some
Who's
reason their
missing?
sound's not coming through. No, no, that's it. That's basically everybody, but I don't know if they can hear me.
Ladies,
Okay,
can
so
you hear Lisa? Jasmine
Yes.
says
Yes,
yes.
I
Tammy says
can.
yes.
okay,
Okay,
excellent.
unmute yourself if you muted. Okay. Shanice, I don't see, but I guess she can hear you. And we got
Shan-
Deja. Deja, can you hear us? She must be muted.
okay. Well, Deja is Christine, and I wanted to start with Deja. Unfortunately, she
Okay.
can't be on through the entire interview because she's such a blessing to her Uncle Ted. He's 90 plus years old, and she caregives. So
Oh,
there's a few things
sweet.
that she needs to do for him. But if one more time, Christine, can you hear us? Okay, well, let's talk about these particular women, and let's talk about why we call it unspoken discussion. Her and why
Okay.
I wrote that particular movie. So you know, Sheila, I'm not a little girl, so I know a few people. You know,
You
and
do.
I know a couple of people, right? Because you live enough life, and you experience enough life in relationship that as you get older, you start understanding more.
That's right.
And in this particular movie, when we're talking about Deja, give you backstory. Deja's husband um, is somewhat well. At one point in their relationship, their marriage, I guess I don't want to say jealous, but they were having problems because she wanted to pursue um, an idea that she had. I don't want to give everything away. There was something that she wanted to do in business, and she was striving to do it. And she did it because she knew she needed to help her family because her family was struggling financially.
Hmm.
And so she steps out on faith, and I'll just tell y'all, she starts these boutiques. But anybody who's an entrepreneur knows that when you go into the entrepreneur realm and you're really in it, it's very hard to take care of a family and build a business because the business requires so much of your time. And what happens at that particular time in her marriage, Sheila and audience, is that she gains some weight. He starts making comments about her body, but he starts cheating. And of course that causes a problem. 5 years later, she's successful. The family is doing good. But now she's saying, I know how he feels because now I want to cheat. Isn't that somehow tables can turn? Isn't that something how when you're in a relationship and someone cheats on you, for some people, you may never think about cheating and you get very angry with them. You know, how could you do this to me? But isn't it something how sometimes the tables can turn that the thing that you accuse one person of, now you feel like doing it yourself? And that is the plight of Deja. And in the real world, I've known individuals whose husband have cheated, and they have too. Have you known anybody like that, Sheila? Sheila, are we losing
Yes,
the sound? Can
yes,
you hear me? Can
yes.
you hear me?
I
Oh,
can. No, I was muted. I was muted because I was
okay,
doing something behind the scenes. Didn't want to
okay,
distract. So yes, I
okay.
did
Yeah,
know
yeah,
and do know absolutely
yeah. And the cheating thing is very, it's
painful.
it's very painful. But you know what? I heard a woman say to me last year, she was kind of happy her husband was cheating because she didn't want to be bothered with him anyway. So I guess it, I guess it depends on what's going on in your marriage,
Correct.
based on how you're going to feel about things. But that becomes the plight of Deja, and the question becomes, how do you get past your hurt?
Mm.
Because it still hurts her 5 years later. Now, Sheila, counselor, Dr. Sheila, do you think there is a way, or in your opinion, how do you get past that type of hurt so that you don't harbor it in your spirit and you don't hold it against a person? Or do you feel that maybe some people, maybe you really can't get past it, but you can forgive somebody for it?
Well, it depends on the timing of of what's expected of a person when they've been hurt in that kind of situation. No one has the right to give a time frame on when someone should be healed. The
Mm-hmm.
healing process is important, and that's the first step of trying to understand sometimes what part did I play in it, right? Because there's two people, so we got to
Ooh,
balance it out. Like I may have 10% and you may have 90%. Nevertheless, my 10 could corrupt 90 based on
that's
what
right.
it is. So when this happens, people, women and men, need to sit it. I call it sitting in it, sitting in yourself, you know, circumspect yourself. Like, how did I get to this place? How did we get to this place? And the pain of it is it's a sting. It's a really bad sting, especially if trust was broken on more than one level. And it depends on the dynamics of each scenario. Nevertheless, at the end goal, somebody cheated, right? So people are hurt. Now, I've seen situations where women don't want to forgive because they feel, they want to hold it because they got something to hold to be able to respond the way they want to respond. Because
Of
once you
course.
start doing a healing process, then you're expected to change at some point for the better.
Mm-hmm. You know,
Marriages, go
mm-hmm.
ahead, go
No,
ahead.
yeah, you are expected to change, but you know what? And this is like, in to me, in any situation where it calls for you to forgive.
Hmm.
I found myself when I was married to my ex-husband, and I think I told you the story. I didn't know he had a drug problem. The
Right.
best thing I did for myself, and it has nothing to do with him, the
Hmm.
best thing I did for myself was to release it, not to hold it against him, even though we got divorced, right?
Hmm.
Because when you take that burden off of you, and it is a burden to carry resentment
Hmm.
and hate and all that, it's a burden. But when you can take that off your shoulders,
But you said the key word, Lisa, when you can, because
when you can,
because everyone is wired differently.
right?
Every individual is wired differently and don't have the capacity to do some of those things until they're able to, I call it walk it out in shoe leather, where you
Mhm.
walk it out and no one's there with you. Your mama can't help you. This is something, as you said, a burden that you yourself have to sit and realize, okay, so what I want, how long have I had this ball and chain on my ankle? Because most times when people hurt you, they go on with their lives and they don't wake up thinking about what you're thinking about. So they're robbing you of your precious time. So the best thing, like you said, is to find a way to make that first step, because the sting is great. When trust is broken, I mean, it takes a long time for trust to be restored again for the next person or the next person, because trust is like all we have. in terms
Right.
of our hearts, our body, our life, our money,
Mm-hmm.
everything is placed into an individual. And when that's broken, according to how you're wired, is according to how you're going to respond. Your strengths and weaknesses are different in every life. Every person has a strength and a weakness, a need and a want. The needs are different. Some marriages have no clue what their families, their partner's love language is. Right there, there's a breach because you're not even understanding what I need, what's important
Right.
to me, not what you want to give me. So it's very difficult. That's why a lot of people make decisions to just end the marriage. But then there are a lot of marriages that came in my office and wanted counseling, that came in wanting to end it,
Of
and
course.
they left out wanting to save it, only because they realized they had not learned each other and didn't know each other needs and wants. And when you don't know that, it becomes a guessing game. And so when it
Right.
becomes a guessing game, then it's hard, especially for women, because we're intimate. We're
Mm-hmm.
very, very emotional. But what you're talking about, that's why I know that this piece is so powerful. I remember reading this script, and I know you have added more to it. And the unspoken discussion is unspoken most times, and this is needed. This conversation, this movie is needed. Trust, even as a counselor, whatever. That's one of the things that I struggle with most. Because I give 150, I give 175, and so
Right.
and I give you a bunch of chances. Like, you can exhaust a lot with me. So
Of
when I
course.
get to the part when I'm done, I'm done. So
Right.
it's
Right.
kind of hard for somebody to come and say, "Well, no, I did that." Well, I did that too. Well, yep, we did that too. It's like,
Right.
after
Right.
you exhaust something, and as being a woman of God, is the Bible tells us to exhaust everything. Go to a counselor, go to the pastor, go to the scriptures. Go, and when you've exhausted everything, then you can't be held accountable for something that someone is not believing in, or something broke down for whatever selfish reasons. Lately, in the YouTube streets, there have been a lot of conversations about narcissists. A lot. A
Mm-hmm.
lot, a lot, a lot of conversations in these YouTube streets, on men's platforms and women platforms, talking about relationships, exposing themselves, sharing why they're not married anymore. No one has the right to point a finger, because no one lives with you. No one's in your home. They could
That's right.
say all they want. I remember Bishop Jakes went to court one day because of a domestic violence case in his church, and the judge let him have it. The judge just, like, I am so sick and tired of the church telling these women to stay in these relationships when it's a domestic violence relationship, and you telling women to stay in these relationships, and then they wind up what, deleted. And he
Right.
couldn't understand it, because the church has to cut that out. No, God, that's not a God, is not a God of abuse. He's a God of wisdom.
It's fun. And you know what? And I think too, Sheila, like when we're talking about unspoken discussion, her once again it's on YouTube. And
Mhm,
the ladies are here. Hey ladies, because we getting ready to get to y'all, so hold on for 2 seconds.
mhm,
But there's so much that when I'm talking about marriage and relationship,
mhm,
there's so much that you're gonna have to deal with. And I always tell people that I've known, I only like to talk about situations that I know. When everybody's so excited about getting married, I said, well, pull your Kleenex out because you're gonna need it.
mhm,
If you think that this is gonna be a picnic,
mhm.
then you're at the wrong picnic, because it's not gonna be one. Because I don't care if you're single by yourself. Life is life for everybody.
Yeah,
You can be single, you're gonna have trials and tribulations, period. You can be married and overall happy, you're going to have trials and tribulations. You can be married, laid, and lonely. You're going to have trials, tribulations. Sometimes it's not even about the other person. A lot of times it's about you. And
true.
let me just go into another dynamic about the character Deja,
Okay.
something that she was dealing with her husband. Now, here's a reality that some of us are going to face. What happens when you love somebody? And I'm talking about you love your husband, your man, and his sexual performance or his erectile dysfunction.
So you want to
It's
go there that quick in the show? You want to
bam
jump
bam,
into that?
bam bam.
You wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute now. Hold on, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You want to go right there,
We're gonna
just
go
like
right
that.
there.
You set it up so sweet and nice, and then boom, you
Hey,
dropped the bomb.
hey,
Okay,
Jasmine, can we go right there, Maureen?
wait, wait,
Can we
wait.
just go right
Yes,
there?
are you ready to open that up already?
We gonna open it up
Okay,
because
so
this
wait a
is
minute. You know how we do here at Bravo with Sheila? We got family in the house, and they is like, uh-oh. We got people talking out. She's saying, uh-oh, uh-huh. And they says, what did she say? That we got, I don't leave my people on the side. Yep, picnics have ants. Okay, in there, you okay, okay, all right. And then I got my girl just popped on. Wait a minute. You want to go there that fast? Hold up, wait. I need a drink of this lemonade. 1 second. Mm,
but it's a
mm.
real
Church
hey,
finger. Don't ask me. I never knew what the church finger meant, but whatever. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna let you carry on. I'm gonna
can
let
we
you
go
carry
right there?
on. Give me a
Because
second.
I
Give me a
gotta get to
second.
the
My girls are saying stuff in the chat.
okay.
Uh-uh. No, I know you do, but wait a minute. Can't let my girls sit on the side. They over there screaming. They over there saying, wait a minute. Dawn, my co-host Dawn is saying, wait, Dawn, wait, what you saying, Dawn? Dawn said, let's go. LOL. She ready to go with it. All right, we're gonna come back to this chat. But okay, so I'm gonna let you open it up. You hit that was quick. That was
It was
okay.
quick
I'm scared what's
because
gonna
we just
happen at the second part of the show. I'm
well,
scared of you already, Lisa, because I know how you
because
are.
hey, I'm gonna
Uh,
get to the other girls because this is the part of unspoken discussion her that let's just have a talk about. Now, when I talk about and I want to be really sensitive about this
mm-hmm.
because for many men, their sexual performance is everything.
True.
So I don't want those men who are this might be their station in life for right now to feel as if I'm putting them down. We're just talking
Mhm.
about life issues.
Right.
And this is a part of life that happens to many men, young and old.
Right.
It's
That's
not, let's not, okay, so because you can get to 2 seconds and under, 2 minutes and under, you can be in your early 20s because a lot of times your health condition dictates
absolutely.
your
Absolutely. So
performance.
we don't make fun of people in the
Yeah, no, we're not doing
Bravo
that.
Nation. We talk
No,
facts and we give information. We leave people whole. We don't tear people
no,
apart.
we
But
don't care. But
this needs to be talked about.
I
And
mean,
that's
it's
why you're
life.
here. That's why
And,
you're
and
here.
listen, and it's life because, see, I was blessed to have a mother who talked to me about life when I was 13. She didn't give me the I Love Lucy, the Brady Bunch edition. She gave me the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so she told me, and she was talking about erectile dysfunction when I was really young. And if
Wow.
she hadn't told me that, I would not have known until I got older to experience certain things. This is the plight in the movie Unspoken Discussion Her that Deja has. Besides her husband having cheated earlier years, was upset with her because she's building a business and she doesn't have that much time. Well, she makes a lot of time for the children, but he feels that he's neglecting her, not understanding that what she's trying to do is to take the financial stress off of him so she can elevate the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes out and cheat. Now, 5 years later, his performance is where it is. And
Mm-hmm.
there are many women who are dealing with situations with the person, the man that they're married to, where, you know, his sexual performance is limited. We called the little Johnny, okay, with little Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
And what do? Now for I've known women who have said, I don't even know if I can stay with him longer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, do you divorce him because of that? Because here's the thing,
Right.
you know, life can happen to us.
That's right.
Okay, it only takes sickness. It only takes stress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's move into our other character, and this character is Shanice, which is played by Miss Deborah Dupree. Hey, Deborah.
Hi,
Hey, can
Deborah.
you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear me, guys?
yeah, beautiful
Yes.
lady. We hear you and see you.
Oh, great. Glad I was able to get through.
We glad you're
Yes,
able to
yes,
get through
yes.
too, Shanice. Well, you know what? Let me build up Shanice's character, and then let me have Deborah, who plays Shanice, talk about it. Here's another situation. This can be a tough situation for women.
Mm.
I have a cousin who, when she was coming out of high school, she was involved with her childhood sweetheart. He was getting ready to go to college, and my cousin got pregnant. And he had a scholarship for football, everything. Now, it wasn't that he didn't love my cousin. He loved her, but he wasn't ready for marriage. So they get married, she has children, and he's cheating a lot. And my cousin said to me a while back, she says, "Well, when you get married, basically you're supposed to grow up and you're supposed to do what you need to do. But if someone marries you and they're not ready, that switch doesn't always come on. That they're not always able to just say, I love you so much, I want to be faithful, because they're not there yet." That's the role that Deborah plays when she plays the part of Shanice, right, Deborah?
Yes,
Deborah?
absolutely. Can you hear me?
Right. I can hear you. So
Oh,
so talk
great.
about so talk about the part that you played,
Yeah,
Deborah.
tell us.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well, let
the,
me just say something. Let me just say something. Don't tell them the whole
okay.
story because we want people to look at the
Oh,
movie.
no, no.
Right.
Yeah, just deal
No.
with
Tease, tease, tease.
tease.
All, all I believe that in some point in a young female's life, they become emotionally attracted to a young man or maybe even an older man. And a lot of times when a woman is attracted or a young lady is attracted to a man, I think it's just more to it than the fact that this is just the opposite sex here. There's a lot of other underlying, what can I say, uh, conceptions that go with wanting to be in love with a mate. You may not, I mean, now when she presents herself to the public, friends, family, it looks like a relationship, a straight up relationship between male and female, and that may be the discussion that most people are exposed to. But the underlying issue that may cause her to want to be so in love with this person is more to it than just looks. So usually there's some underlying issue that has, I believe, a woman really, really in love with a guy, regardless of maybe what the situation is.
She's really
And
Okay.
can't always.
Hey, Deborah, hold on 1 second because your feed's not coming in good. So let me just talk for a couple of seconds and see if
it's
Sheila
her,
can work that out.
it's not me, it's her.
Okay, so
It's
it's your
her, it's
phone,
her,
Deborah.
it's wherever her Wi-Fi or wherever she is, her signal must be weak. It's definitely not coming from this.
Oh, is it
Yeah.
better now? Does it
It's
sound
better.
better?
Keep talking.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you may not be able to see my face because I have to hold the phone up closer to my. I had an earplug that
No, it might
Okay,
be
let
the
me
earplugs. It might be
okay,
the
let me
earplugs.
let me do this. Deborah, let me just talk about your part for a second. So here we have Renee, which is played by Deborah Dupree. And here's just a life situation. Here's a question that I want to ask everybody who's listening, who's a woman. If you had to marry a man and you were not in love with him, well, you didn't have to, but you wanted to do that which was honorable. And you married him and you found that for some reason you just could not fall in love with him. What do you do?
Is that a question for the chat or is
That's a
that a
that's
question?
a question for the chat. That's a question for the ladies. If you married a man and you were not in love with him, what would you do? Do you stay with him? Are you going to remain faithful to him? And see, that's the problem, and that's the plight that happens with Renee in this movie. She marries him, he marries her, he never falls in love with her. And when you don't fall in love with people, with a man, or the man doesn't fall in love with the woman, regardless of whether you've had a child together, that's hard for some people to stay faithful to you. Now, she says, Renee says in the movie, and let me top it off, Sheila. It's not only that he doesn't love her, he treats her like dirt,
That's another
right?
layer.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's put the mayonnaise on the bread and let's build the sandwich out. Okay. Here we go. He married her, pregnant. He wants to be honorable. But because he doesn't marry her, there's a resentment that he has towards her. So now he treats her like dirt. They've been married, I think, almost 20 years or whatever the time frame is. They went on vacation one time. He doesn't want to do anything with her. And it's almost like she's there just waiting so desperately. When are you going to love me? Now, this is not in the script, but you can tell by how we weave through the script. That is her desire. Now, she's faithful to him. And what becomes so weird is she talks about the great sex that they have,
Mm.
right? Sex is so great. Now, I don't know about anybody else because we're all different.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'd rather you treat me a certain way, like you love me,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep my legs closed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to treat me like mess,
Mm-hmm.
and then you use my body for self gratification, and then I'm talking about the sex is so great. Now, Sheila,
Yeah.
let me ask you:
Mm-hmm.
if you were with a man and you married a man that you know he doesn't love you,
Mm-hmm.
but he's marrying you because you're having a baby, are you expecting him to remain faithful?
He's marrying me because because I'm having his
Yeah,
child.
yeah,
Do I expect him? No, because
to
his
remain
reason,
faithful.
no, because he's coming into it not with a pure heart, with pure motives. He's coming in forced, or it
Mhm.
was an option. I was an option because he so-called had to do the right thing and make me his wife. That's that back in the day. I don't know if a lot of that happens now, but I know it has happened to a lot of women. And then you added the layer, and you first question you asked was, "Do you stay?" Once
Mhm.
everything he starts to treat you bad. First of all, now it's changing into DV, domestic violence, emotional and mental. Sheila don't do that. Sheila don't ride buses like that. And I'd rather go through a public persecution, public scandal, public call, whatever, because you have to learn to turn the voices off in your life from thoughts and people that are not walking in your shoes. So no, I do not expect him to stay faithful to me because, first of all, I already know he doesn't love me, right? So if he doesn't love me, he doesn't desire me. So what was it? A drive-by? Was it just a fake relationship? Was he just did the representative show up? Who was he? And why did I let that happen? So for
Mhm.
me, Lisa, I'm not the one. I'm not that girl that stays in a situation, domestic violence. I don't, emotional, physical, none. I don't. If as a pastor, minister, a girl, whatever you want to call me, no, I'm not doing it because that's not what's best for me. That's not what God has for me. That's not. You got to love yourself. You have to love yourself and know that what your worth is. And a lot of women don't know their worth, so they'll settle. So maybe he's showing things financially, right? Okay, he came into my life. I'm pregnant. He's financially stable. Some women rather swap the finances for happiness. Some women like to
Right.
swap.
Mhm.
They play the swapping game. Well, I got this and I could buy this and I'm good, and they don't care about. But then as soon as he cheats, right? Those situations and relationships are dangerous because they never stay on one level. They escalate and evolve into all kind of mess. It can't work. He doesn't love you. He wants to go, let him go. That's why I don't believe in people forcing people to be married. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in because and this is a problem really in the church. Just because because in the church we date to marry, right? So as soon as you date someone, right, and they say, "Oh, such and such, oh yeah, they're dating." Now in the church, it's already pressure for a female because everyone expect now, oh, that's her husband. But she don't even know him yet. She hasn't even seen the representative is still showing up, right? And so now you, because of the church pressure, I know many relationships that was in the church. They met, now the guy was nice, but he may not have the capacity for you. And
Well,
so
you,
it's
you
it's
know,
it's sad though, because I think this is what you're talking about, and this movie is so powerful because you got
mhm.
these women that play all these different parts and scenarios that is real talk. It's real.
But Sheila, I want to say something. In the movie Unspoken Discussion, her and Deborah, who
Mhm.
plays Deborah, say a couple of words and let me see if your phone's still breaking up, sweetie.
Is it better?
Okay, it's not
Hello?
better. It's not better. So I'm just gonna have to do the interview for you, darling. You just stay right there.
Oh, I'm
Let me say
sorry.
also,
It's
that's
okay.
okay.
You're in and out. It's not like we can't hear you. It's choppy. Talk a little bit right now again.
Hello.
Keep
How is
talking.
everyone?
Okay, keep
How's everyone
talking.
doing? How
Say
are
a
you
little bit
doing
about
tonight?
talk a little bit about
A
the
little bit
movie.
more?
So
Uh-huh.
How's it going?
Good.
so
Keep
Better?
talking.
Deborah,
Better?
here's the thing.
Better?
Here's
Yes.
the thing, Deborah. Let me just finish the interview. So at the end of the day, what happens is when you have a d- in the movie, Shanice goes into the marriage already knowing
Mhm.
that he doesn't love her.
Okay.
See, there's sometimes where we have to take responsibility.
Absolutely.
Okay, we can't shift it off on him. A lot of us go into stuff and we already know what's going on.
True.
This is not a situation where you marry somebody, you in love with each other, and then later love change.
Mhm.
She went into it with the expectation that, okay, we're having a baby, and this baby is going to be the glue that binds.
Mm-mm.
Is for some people, it's not the glue that binds. Then the question is, then what do you do?
What do you do?
So if you are, in my opinion, if you married someone and you care more about the structure of your family, you want to make sure your child has a mother and father in the house,
Right?
then you got things that you need to sort through,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Mhm.
If that's your
Okay.
desire, if
If
that's what
that's your desire,
you want, right?
then you got to take what goes with that. Because I don't
Absolutely.
even care how happy you are in your marriage. This is the thing, marriage shifts,
Mhm.
period. Because the unexpected happens. I don't care who you marry.
Mhm.
Like I tell people, and I talk like this, and it's the truth. Everything is wonderful when it's wonderful. Who getting
Everything is
upset over
wonderful when
wonderful?
it's wonderful. That
Everything, right? Everybody happy when it's happy.
Mhm.
It's how do you feel when the shift comes?
Yeah, when the
How do you
shift,
treat
yeah,
each other when that shift comes?
yeah.
If he
And it's
if
coming.
And it's coming.
Mhm.
It comes whether you're married or whether you're not married. So that's the dynamic that Shanice deals with.
Okay.
Okay. And there's some
So are
other
you
stuff.
saying that Shanice, she knows that this guy doesn't
Yeah.
love her and
She
she
knows.
knows he's marrying her because she's pregnant only. That's the reason.
Yeah,
And she says yes.
yeah, and they got married. And then, she says, this is something I want to talk about too. She says, but I'm a good wife.
Mm,
Now, here's the thing about when you say what you are to somebody else. You shouldn't say what you are to somebody else. It takes the person to tell you how they feel about you.
mhm,
Don't stand in the mirror and say, baby, I look good, because he may not feel you look good.
mhm,
Let him tell you how good you look, right?
mhm. I
Okay.
mean, you could know yourself you look good. I mean,
Right.
right.
No, no, no. Okay. But I'm saying, but what I'm saying
Oh,
is, if you're saying, baby, I look good, you're basically telling them, okay, that might be how you feel, but
mhm.
suppose he doesn't feel that you look good. Now, what's he supposed to do? He got to not say the truth how he feels, because if he tells you you don't look good, you're going to get upset.
That's a
It's gonna-
problem. That's a problem that should be known before marriage. And,
But but you know what? When you talk about this particular relationship, and I just go back to Shanice in the movie,
mhm,
she, like I said, she knew that he didn't love her. He
mhm,
loved her because she was pregnant.
mhm,
And like sometimes some of us, and it's not just with marriage, it's even if you get a car you can't truly afford.
Yes, it's across the
Okay.
board, right?
It's all across the board, right? It's these realities. You got that small voice in the back of your head that says, I don't think you should do it. And then that other overpowering voice tells that small voice to be quiet because I want to do what I want to do.
Right.
And then you find out later. Now we have the role, here we have another character
Uh-huh.
that is played by Miss Jasmine James.
Jasmine James.
Hey, Jasmine.
Hey.
Hi,
Hi,
Lisa.
Jasmine.
Hi, Sheila.
Jasmine.
Hi, Jasmine. How you doing?
It's been a while. I'm well. How
It's
are
been a
you?
while.
What-
The talented Jasmine.
and that she is.
She
Actually,
is.
all the ladies are talented, but
Yes.
Jazzy.
Well, I worked with her, so I was,
Yeah, so
yeah.
you know
Yeah.
firsthand. Well, Jasmine plays the role of Maureen, and Jasmine, tell the listening audience in the movie Unspoken Discussion, her that's on YouTube. Tell them what your plight is with your husband.
So, I love my husband in this movie. However, I'm jealous of him. He has a great public life. And, a lot of a lot of women want to be that, trophy wife. They want to be taken care of. But it seems like I'm kind of over that. And I want something more. I want something for myself. I don't want to be in the shadows anymore. So it's about me, grappling with him being the star and me kind of being the shadow. And, I'm fulfilling my duties, but am I going to do something I shouldn't because I'm jealous? Am I going to step out because I'm jealous? Am I going to be, a bad wife as a quote unquote, because I have this sort of growing hatred and jealousy because I sort of let myself go in the marriage and it's all about him. So I guess throughout, when you watch, you'll see, the way I sort of deal with this question of how it started and how it's going and how I try to change maybe, to get to a place that maybe I can deal with.
And it's funny and so let's talk about that. What do you do when you get what no, Jasmine, here's the thing. What do you do, ladies, when you marry a man? And I don't see anything wrong with this, and I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying, you marry a man and you help him build his life so that he can achieve everything he wants to accomplish. And then you forget about your own life.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of women's stories.
That's a lot of women's stories.
Yeah, it's a lot of and then a lot of them don't turn out disastrous. A lot of them it pays off because when it becomes her turn, he's generous enough to step back and say, okay, let's do you. You don't it's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of stories I know where people have laid down their whole entire dream and goals for the sake of the family and the children. And, which people say that's in the mind today of modern day women, right? Again, in the YouTube streets, it's the modern day women versus traditional. That's been a major conversation for the last couple of years. And so, yeah, that's deep. So what do you do?
Well, I think too, here's the thing with the role that Jasmine plays in the movie Unspoken Discussion, her as she plays Maureen. Actually, we're stuck at her house. We all came to visit her and it's a snowstorm, so we're stuck at her house. And so part of what she's jealous of is, like Jasmine says, I'm jealous of his success. When he comes home, his life is so interesting. When he tells his story, and then when it comes time for her to talk about her day, he picks up the paper and starts reading the paper because the only thing she's talking about basically is, how much the prime rib was and, the cleaner's bill, right?
Yeah. That's deep because then she becomes irrelevant as well as being taken for granted.
I know a situation right now. Okay. Sometimes, and I only like to talk about situations I know. I don't make broad statements. But I know a particular situation right now of a woman whose husband is just soaring, right? And she has the children. So she has jealousy because he travels a lot, he does a lot, Now I said to the particular person that sometimes she makes comments, and I know what she's trying to do is to get me to say something negative about her husband. I'm not saying anything negative about her husband because it ain't got nothing to do with me. But when I ask her, well, what do you want to do with your life? She never has an answer.
Was she lost herself? She's lost. I mean, has she
Yeah,
laid?
no, she not lost. Okay, because it's not like she can't think. What do you want to do with your life? I said to the particular person. Now, and it's been going on for about 3-4 years. Okay, she never has an answer. So to me, sometimes what I think this particular person wants to, and her husband really to do, is be everything. Because she says, well, I got to take care of the kids. Oh, hello. Now, what's he supposed to do? Go out, make the bacon, fry the bacon, go to the supermarket, do everything. I mean, and then come home and take care of the kids. All right. So I said to her, well, now your kids are getting ready to go to school. So what do you want? And it's been going on 3 or 4 years. Okay. And her jealousy is increasing. So sometimes I wonder with certain situations, because it's not like she can't do anything.
That's
Is
what I
that
was going to ask you. Is she
choosing?
capable of
She's
doing?
more than capable. She's just choosing not to do anything while she's harboring jealousy towards him because he's out here moving and shaking. And I think that sometimes, people, we all have to figure out when you have kids, like all of y'all who have children, women, you have to spend time with your children. You know what I'm saying? You got to give them what you have to give them. This person that I know didn't start complaining until he started becoming very successful and
Oh,
started getting a lot of accolades, starting to
oh,
get a lot of attention.
okay,
You know what I mean?
okay.
Because he's always been going, but for the past 3-4 years, I think it's the jealousy because people value him in a certain way, and I really don't think that she likes that. I think she's very jealous of all that he gets, all his notoriety. And jealousy can just destroy. And you talk about a man that loves his wife and his family, jealousy just can destroy you. So, what do when you are a woman and your husband is doing what he's doing and you're sitting home and you feeling blah, like you have no life?
You need to do something with yourself. You need to find a
Mhm.
hobby. You need to do
Do
something
something.
to get
You
that energy and that self purpose
right.
to
Mhm.
boomerang back to you. Because when a woman or a person lose that purpose, when they put that purpose to sleep, when they put that individual inside, I always talk about the other people, but when you put that person to sleep and you allow that person to become dormant, then it becomes like a flatline.
Right.
Mhm.
Flatline. So every
Mhm.
energy and everything that she's feeling and everything she's not feeling, she's projecting on him, right? He
Right.
loves his family. And she's making excuses that instead of saying, I don't want to work, I don't want to do nothing. She's saying to you,
Mm-hmm.
it's the kids. I seen people strap a baby in a stroller and one on the back and go to school and go learn a trade and go to college and do homework, do a home virtual college. I seen people who desire change because when nothing changes, nothing changes. So you got so many different roles going on in this movie, Unspoken Discussion, her. Yeah, this is really, 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 really good.
And here's the truth. And Jasmine, I'm going to let you talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a number of situations like this down through the years. Number of situations, but jealousy is a really bad thing to have in a marriage, boy. Ooh, you
Jealousy
talk
is a
about,
monster.
oh my God, you
It becomes venom.
what?
Hmm.
It's almost like you lying next to a person you can't even trust once that jealousy comes into play.
Hmm. Rosa Griffith says, absolutely, she needs to find her life because my cousin Janice had made a post and said she need to get a hobby. And then Rosa Griffin says, before all of that, she said, wow, this is almost every woman's story. The names have just been changed to protect their identity.
Ain't that and change. So let me ask you something, Jasmine. Just let's get personal a little bit, Jasmine. What do you think that you would do? Now, Jasmine's married, so I'm not talking about your marriage. But I'm saying, because we're not talking about your marriage, and I'm going to ask the same thing of you, Tammy. What would you do if you had a husband and you were very jealous of him? How do you think you could get past that?
It's so funny you said that, because he actually called me when we were in the waiting room to get in just an hour ago, and he's very ambitious. So who knows? One day he could be the guy we are talking about in the movie. The person that thinks my day is boring because they're out here being a congressman or a president or whatever. But I said to him, I don't know if I would have Maureen's problems, because I was like, I wouldn't mind being the wife of a CEO. I think it'd be great. Trust me, I will find things to do. But in this case, when, like if in here where you have not found yourself, you're just basically living in the shadow. To be honest, I'm a very emotional person, and I probably would, have the same reaction that my character has. But I think for anyone that gets in that situation, you gotta, speak to your, therapist or whoever you go to, discuss your emotional health, because that's very important. Because, right here it turned into jealousy, but it could also turn into depression. It could turn into a lot of things. And I know that that's something that a lot of people struggle with. That, who knows if it's jealousy now, it could have been depression at one point. You don't touch upon that as much, but, she's unhappy. So we don't know how deep that unhappiness was at, before it turns into this hatred, because we all know with grief, there's like different stages. So, the character, she does have layers to it. She loves her children, but I think for me personally, I would, it would take a while to even get to the jealousy part, because there'd be so many stages if I wasn't able to, go out there and find myself and find my hobbies or even my gifts, so that I can have my own ray of sunshine alongside of him.
Well, what about you, Tammy? What do you think that this is hypothetical, Tammy, if funny, let's say you're 10 years into marriage and everything's great. Next thing on 11th year, whatever, your husband just, he's just blows up, and he's, like in the movie, her husband, he's a congressman. He has his own law practice. Everybody knows him. And you find, or you feel invisible. What do you think you would do?
Right. And I think that Jasmine touched on a lot of what I was thinking. I think it's important. It would be important for me to get some kind of help or some therapy or something, because I wouldn't want that or resentment or that jealousy to turn into something way deeper. Like I want to hurt him or something because I'm so jealous of his life. And so, sure, I could do things. I could go out and have a hobby and do some things, but I think that I really need to get some therapy, go see a pastor, pray or something to kind of turn that around, and just not be jealous of his life, because his life, what he does, hopefully is for us. And right. I just hope that it's something that he's doing for us, and I shouldn't need to be jealous. But I understand if you feel like your life is not going as you'd like it to be, then you probably would be. So
you know what?
Get some help.
You just said something. You said what he's doing is for us. Now in the movie, and here's the thing, when you have men who, I'm not talking about acting, I'm not talking about somebody who's an actor or stuff. I'm talking about people who work jobs and they do things where they just live a dynamic life and they're sought after, just different things. You don't hear ever in the movie Maureen complaining about the perks that come with his success. It's one thing to get jealous, but if you're going to be jealous, I think that you shouldn't even indulge in the perks. Okay, all right. Folk get jealous, but they take that new car that came. You understand what I'm saying? Okay,
right.
I don't like. I'm jealous of him, but this house is really nice.
Mhm.
And I just think that there are times when we have to look at everything. What actually is it that you're jealous of him,
Mhm.
or you're not happy with yourself?
Can I add some, Lisa? I think
Yeah,
also
man.
with this, what you're talking about too, even like with the characters you're talking about with Jasmine and this jealousy, and like even the real life example you just mentioned to us, the nameless people, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think that when you lose yourself,
Yeah.
then you've lost everything because now you impose on that other person to give you what you've lost in yourself. I
And they
think
can't give it to you though.
they cannot. And when you
Yeah.
lay down your gifts, and you can for a season, when you lay yourself down, meaning to the point emotionally, I don't mean doing things. You can
Mm-hmm.
be an incredible housewife and have a great day, have a schedule on the refrigerator of the things that you do, not just cooking and cleaning and washing. Like what happened to you? Because the
Mm-hmm.
moment you lose yourself, you'll start projecting on someone else, your husband, or
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. And then it creates all of these things we're talking about, depression, right? Because now
Mm-hmm.
I'm the victim.
Right.
I become a victim now, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I become a finger pointer,
Right.
right? And so when any female, married, single, Jasmine, Shanice, with characters, all of us, when we lose ourselves to the point that we don't know who we are and we have to kind of chip away at someone else for the lack of what we've allowed to happen to ourselves, it's so unfair. And that jealous spirit is a murderous spirit. When you don't check a jealous spirit, it turns into venom
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
enemy, it's devil
Mhm.
Yeah.
for you. He's speaking in your head.
Mm.
He's
Mm-hmm.
telling you all, he's repeating stuff that's not
Mm-hmm.
right. And so I just, as you were saying that, I was like, you cannot lay your life down to the point. That's not healthy for a relationship, or if you're single, because we have a lot of single women in the chat who's probably taking jewels and listening to this and understand, oh, I did that, or it's you cannot for no reason lose yourself to the point that you start projecting on somebody else and become a finger pointer. And like you said, reaping the benefit off of who I am in your presence.
Why you jealous of me?
Why are you jealous?
You're jealous, but you keep taking. Okay.
You keep
which
taking.
which which now we're gonna shift the gears though, Sheila and
Okay.
audience, and now let's talk about sex with unspoken
So
discussion.
you
Huh?
go ahead and talk about
Okay.
sex. While you doing that, I want everybody that's up in the chat and everybody hit that like button. Go ahead, push this. Get the algorithm to push this through these YouTube streets. You go ahead and talk about sex.
let's
Open it
talk
up,
about the
Lisa.
sex. Let's
Go
now
ahead,
we
Lisa.
now we're gonna get into the stuff that's sometimes it's hard for some of us to talk about.
I'll be right
So
back.
okay, ma'am. So here we go. Now let's talk about this. We have a character in the movie Unspoken Discussion, her by the name of Diamond, and Diamond is played by Tammy Mans. And Diamond is at the point in her life where she no longer wants to have sexual relations. And Tammy, I want you to talk
Mhm.
about your character in Unspoken Discussion. Her, tell us something about Diamond, and let's chit chat about what happens when you get to the point where you're just not interested in having sex anymore.
Right.
Period.
And that is so true. I'm in my 50s, and I'm going through menopause, and my body's going through some changes, and I just don't like sex. I've had relationships with individuals, and I want the intimacy part of sex. I don't want the sawing or the riding me like a horse. I want the intimacy part of sex. And so that's where I am. I'm single. The rest of the ladies, we're at Moraine's house, and they're all married, and I probably secretly am jealous of Shanice because she's married,
Hey, hey.
and so I be, and everybody's married, and I'm single, and I'm menopausal, and I'm angry, and I don't want to have sex. It's just not, it's boring is what I say. Sex
And,
is boring.
and it's
And
boring.
so,
But let's
yes.
talk about why sex can sometimes be boring. And let's get to the nitty gritty, because this can sometimes be true. In the movie, Diamond, who's played by Tammy, one of her things is she's never had an orgasm when a man has used his, his member, his little Johnny. I don't want to say, everybody know what I'm talking about. What y'all know what makes a man and a woman. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so she's never had an orgasm when he used his member. That's part of the reason why she feels sex is boring. Now, another thing is, she says, she's never been with a man who wanted to satisfy her. Now let's get a little deeper and let's just have some girl talk. There are times, ladies, where the truth is, there are many women who've never had an orgasm when a man has used his member.
Thank you.
There's yeah. I wasn't gonna say that word.
YouTube gonna be striking me in a minute. Go ahead.
You're not gonna get strike, because we call it member or little Johnny.
Okay.
Okay. And so we won't use it. Okay. But there are times when that's just never happened for you. And there are times, Tammy says this, and she plays Diamond, right, Diamond? You tell us, you say, listen, because one of the girls are like, well, why don't you tell him? We're talking about one particular gentleman she's been with. Why don't you tell him you've never enjoyed sex? And Tammy, what do you tell him?
What did I tell him?
You said, I've tried.
Yeah. I said, I tried to tell him, but that's just not how he's wired. He's just not wired that way. Men are so different, I think, than women are. They are defined by their members sometimes, and we want to be more intimate. And so I tried to have that conversation, and it fell on deaf ears. So,
well, it's also too, Sheila, and I don't want to get anybody's personal business, so I'm going to go by conversations that I've had, and I got some years on me. There have been, listen, sometimes you cannot be honest with men because he might be doing something that is not pleasing to you. Now, there can be times where you can tell somebody, I'm really not enjoying that. Now, he might take offense, right? Okay. Now the whole mood has changed in the bedroom. All right. Now somebody got attitude, okay? This is what you know what I'm saying? Now he got attitude. He might get up and leave, okay? Or it might be a thing of retaliation. You might say, that I don't particularly care for that. Then he might come back and say, well, look, I don't particularly care for that. You just don't know how things fall on a man's ear. When you're being intimate. The thing is also, where the bodies are made differently. There are some women who've never had, an aha moment in the bed because his member, different sizes, you see? Now, that's another thing to talk about. That's another thing to think about. Suppose you meet a man, when I talk about attraction, I don't get into physical attraction. I'm talking about emotionally attracted to him. There's something about him that you gravitate towards too, because physical can change in 5 or 10 years, but the quality and the foundation of the man, you love that. And let's just say the time comes, when the two shall meet,
Mhm.
And I've had girlfriends who've gone through that. I've had a girlfriend who was with somebody, and it was a nightmare. Let's just leave it like that. She said it was horrible, but she thought he was such a wonderful man.
Mhm.
Now the thing
Mhm.
becomes, okay, do I say forget you because you can't, that part of the sex is horrible, but
A
there's
lot of
so much.
women do.
Yeah,
Hmm.
a lot of women do. These are things that we have to think about, right?
Mhm.
Or do you say, you know what, but there's so many other qualities about him that are just so magnificent because we're not going to be in bed 24/7.
Mm.
Okay, we're not even going to be in bed 2 times a week. You know what I mean? It depends on what you value,
Hmm.
right?
Correct.
And then what happens when you marry someone?
Hmm.
And let's say you start off, everything is great, and then that starts dwindling off.
Or
Now,
something happens.
right?
Yeah.
Or what? And then with women, sometimes it happens, like Tammy is saying, right? Tam, you're saying in the movie as you play Diamond, you don't even
Mhm.
want to have sex anymore. You don't have a desire for it.
Mm.
Right.
Now,
Right.
I don't know if there are any men on here, but I would love to talk to a man. But we're doing Unspoken Discussion him movie too. But
Mhm.
I would love to find out if there is a man who would even want to be in relationship with a woman who said, I know I'm no longer interested in sex, not
Mm.
romance, not intimacy.
Mm.
I'm no longer interested in sex.
Mhm.
Mm.
Matter of fact, do any of y'all know anybody, a man who would say, I'm no longer interested in sex?
A
Anybody know
man
anybody?
say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Yep.
man?
You know a
Yep.
man?
No.
Yep.
Not unless they got diabetes and all this stuff and they can't do nothing and their desire is gone or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. I ain't
Well,
never heard a man say nothing
that's
like
why
that.
they created that's why they created the little blue pill.
Well, we're gonna get to the blue pill. We get ready to get to that blue pill. But everybody can't let's talk about the blue pill. That's another thing that happens with Tammy, who plays Diamond. Tammy, talk about the situation
Tammy,
when you're
what about the
dating a
little
man
blue
and he's
pill?
using that blue pill. Tell about what happens when you with the man who used the blue pill
What happened?
Was this when we were at the funeral?
at the funeral.
Oh
Okay.
God, tell us what happened at the
Oh my
funeral.
goodness. So we're at the funeral, standing
Mm-hmm.
over the casket, looking at the
Body.
dearly departed. And this man behind me, my whatever he was, is talking about having sex. And so I say to him, "My God, we are at a funeral. The departed's husband or wife
Wife.
is there, and you are here
Oh,
talking about sex at a funeral." It's just, it was just the medication, I guess.
It
Whenever
was kicking in.
it was
But
kicking.
But what happens with him, and let's talk about the Viagra thing. Okay, what
uh-oh,
happens
Lisa, you going hard.
we
You walking heavy.
gonna walk because the people are taking it, right?
Walk
Okay.
heavy. Walk heavy.
Now there are people. Listen, I know some men who take Viagra, and they've had discussions with me. Now and I want to be really careful how I say things because I'm not putting anybody down, and I don't want any man to feel less than, because
Mm.
that is an individual choice. So when I'm speaking about people I know. Now I know a couple of guys who take Viagra, and when they'll say, well, I can go all night. There's no stopping this, that, and the other. Matter of fact, I was talking to somebody a couple of months ago, and he was making certain statements. So I asked him because I was just curious. I said, so in the movie, in the part that Tammy plays, she plays Diamond, and she says, I don't want nobody just, a seesaw, you know, basically only thing you're doing is bam, 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 bam. So I
Thank
told
you.
this buddy of mine as he was just, complimenting himself on his performances with people, whatever. I said, so let me just ask you a question. I said, is there any romance in that?
Mm.
You see, because I told him this. I said, for some women, just the in and out, in and out, in and out, is not a turn on.
Mm.
And he couldn't understand that
Mm.
because he was so happy that he could perform. And he just thought that in and out. He said, no, 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 no. I know they like it. I know. I said, well, how do you know they like it?
Mm.
I know they like it.
Mm.
How
Yes.
do we know what each other likes when we never even ask? And then sometimes if somebody asks you, you can't even tell the truth. Because, everybody knows who they're with. Like some people will say, just tell the person the truth. People know who they're dealing with. Well, you know when you're in relationship with somebody, a lot of times what you can say and what you can't say. Or if you say it, you know the ramifications that come with that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't want to go through all that drama. You know what I mean, Sheila?
Yeah,
Sometimes
definitely.
you know what I mean? It can become very,
But that's
very, very
sad.
sensitive.
That's sad because who are you with? I
Yeah.
mean, that's really sad, and it's a lot of relationships like that where you can't express. And I know it's not what you say; is how you say it, right? Especially women. Sometimes we can be flip, and
Oh,
we could be kind of coarse at
ooh,
times. But when you care about who you're with, you're going to be so sensitive on a sensitive topic to word yourself properly. Because when it gets to the point where you become mute, when you unmute, when the mute button is on you,
right.
another red flag headed somewhere south. Because you can't mute in a relationship.
You no, but you know what? Here's the thing about sometimes um with I'm just talking about situations that I know. I want to keep saying that because I don't want people to take offense. I can only talk about what I know and certain people I've spoken to. There have been situations where being honest
It's true.
can come back and bite you.
It's true.
And
Well,
it,
yeah, yeah.
right, can come back and bite you. And here's the thing. Like I think if I were with a man who well, let's talk about my character because then it'll lead into this. My character, I play Renee, and this because this is another thing that we deal with, and this is going to just what do you do when you marry a man? You marry a man and he has a certain physique, and men feel like this too with women. So let's just talk about bodies. Men and women can feel this way. Okay, you marry a person, they look one way. Over a period of time, things start looking different.
Different.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I marry a man, and when I married this man in the movie, my husband I talk about, he had like a nice build. I don't in the movie. I don't like skinny men. We
Mhm.
all have our preferences, and what has happened over a period of time, I said that my husband got so skinny, he looked like a hot dog with a set of arms and legs. And I say, how do I tell Naeem I don't want to have sex anymore? Now it doesn't mean I don't love him, but
Mhm.
it does mean that I'm just not turned on by him.
The attraction. Mhm.
Right? The truth is, there are women we feel this. Some of us can feel the same way.
Mhm.
Okay, so the other problem is, I start talking about another relationship I have, and the guy was a member of the PP. Now you know what the PP is, Sheila.
The PP.
The PP. He was a member of the PP.
I'm slow tonight. PP.
The PP. Anybody and who's listening, do y'all know
That's
what
the
that is?
code, or is that a code or a trick? What's the
Well,
PP?
well, in the movie, the PP is the pushers and the packers, and
Oh,
the
see, I would have
pushers
never
and
thought of that.
the
Okay.
pushers and the packers is
uh,
when a man gets to the point
oh,
where he can't hold his erection, then he's trying to push it in and pack it
oh,
in, and then it fly
oh.
out.
Now, how was I supposed to know the PP? Wait, 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 wait. I know I'm not slow, and I do, I keep up a little bit. But wait a minute. Okay,
The pushers and the packers.
okay.
Right. So
Carry on.
when it doesn't hold its form,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? I say he has to give it an assist. He has to
oh,
hold it
oh.
and
Okay.
right.
Uh,
Okay. Pushers and packers, right? Okay. So these are things.
Wait. Wait, I'm stuck. Wait.
Girl, the pushers and the packers. Sheila.
Girl, you listen. I'm so like out of that loop. Wait a minute. For lack of a better term. So yeah, okay.
The pushers and the packers.
I got it now.
So,
Thanks for the education.
Yes. So picture it. Picture it.
I don't want to picture it. I heard you.
Oh, and listen, let me tell you something. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm saying it because it is life.
Listen, we good here. We good right here. Now. You just educated me, and I don't want to imagine it, but I get your point.
Yes.
Okay.
So now they're trying to get to this particular place. Now, that can be very annoying for a woman on the receiving end. Okay? Because it's like, okay, so if it's not going to happen, it's okay. Let's move on to something else. Right? And I think, and I
go back to my cousin's comment where she said creativity, be creative.
Be creative. And you know what? Listen, there's nothing. I think the two that this is what I really think, and this is just my feeling. You all, nobody else's feeling. I think there has to come a time, and I talk about this in the movie Renee, when we get to the point of mature love. And what mature love means is seeing a situation for what it is, not what we want it to be, not what it used to be, but what it is right now. And accepting that and understanding you can't get back what you had yesterday. You can't, I understand men want to take Viagra, and we call it, and I think Diamond uses this term, Tammy, mechanical. That's how she talks about, that's how you talk about the gentleman, right? You say, oh, he's mechanical. And she calls it mechanical because he has to take something in order for him to be able to perform. But I think we all have to understand, like, I know what's important for me in life, always have. I'm just talking about myself. If I was with a man, even if I was with my husband in his 20s, this is just me, and he could not perform, it wouldn't be the most important thing in my life for me. As I am older now, I know it's not important because I've lived enough life to understand that I'm not in bed 24/7. I'm out the bed more than I'm in the bed. I'd rather a person who can appreciate me and we can appreciate each other. We can have a very cohesive relationship, a very respectful relationship. We can have intimacy because I'm the type of woman, I love intimacy. Now, intimacy for me, I could sit next to him and hold his hand and I'm feeling like I'm on cloud 9. That's how I roll. Right? We could sit down and talk to each other eye to eye and have fun. That's intimacy for me. If he were to get to the point where he could not perform, it's okay. Because there's so much about him that I love.
There's so much more to him, so much more to a person.
That's right. And here's the thing. We change. I had a couple girlfriends over and they were like, oh, I know I still have it going on. They never asked their husbands. Okay. You got to watch what you say. You understand? Because you're not on the receiving end of you. The other person on the receiving end may not feel that way. Like in the movie that we're doing, Unspoken Discussion, I told the lady, y'all remember this when I did, let me tell you something, Sheila. I did a little survey. I talked to some men and I was asking them some things about women. You know what I mean? About, us and separate men. And, they said just because they are in the valley, if you know what I mean by the valley, when we're in the bedroom, a man is doing what he's doing with us, doesn't mean that it's pleasurable. Now,
Is she?
you understand?
Okay, stop, pause. All right, wait, Lisa. Everyone in the chat and up in the bleachers and the balcony and the orchestra seat. I right now at this particular moment, I'd like you to stop, pause, and breathe. And reflect. Okay, we're back. We were at a commercial break. We're now back with Miss Lisa Banks. Carry on, Lisa.
Well, we're just talking about some unspoken discussion conversation. Right?
Do your thing. Yes.
And ladies, y'all remember when I was telling y'all what some of these men were saying, and y'all were kind of surprised. Remember that Monday when we had rehearsal? And we there, here's just what life will teach you. My dad said one time, he said, Lily, life will teach you lessons no one else can. And life will teach you lessons and put everything in perspective for you, especially as you get older. The things that you thought meant a lot when you were 20 something, a lot of times not going to have the same value it has when you get 50 something, because you just lived too much life.
Yeah. Another land at that point.
Oh yeah. You and I'm not saying that you're not a sexual being and you don't want to have sex. I'm saying life teaches you what is really important. And at the end of the day, the one thing life has taught me, when I watch so many of my family members die and get sick and all the stuff that goes with it. I told you when my and I think I told you that before, Sheila, when I did the other interview, when my mother was dying. My parents had been married 51 years. And on that Sunday, I was with my mother at the hospital. And before she went into a coma, my dad wasn't there. He was at church. So my father comes in, and my father's holding my mother's hand. And I'll never forget this, because this right here, to me, what I watched my parents experience, summed up everything in life, everything about relationships. For me, nobody can tell me anything different. My mother's in a coma. I'm holding her left hand. My dad's holding her right hand. My mother opens her eyes very, slightly. And with a very frail voice, she says, Charles. She didn't call my name. She called her husband's name. And my father said, I'm here, Lorraine, with emphasis on here. See, I want some of that I'm here, Lorraine. Somebody who'll be with me when the floor drop out. Not the sex. See, because I found out when life gets hard, I don't know anybody who goes through crisis who's thinking about their last sexual escapade. I don't know nobody. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? I don't know nobody at a funeral when they're watching their loved ones die. They sitting there thinking about last night. If they have sex, I don't know anybody. You know what I'm saying, ladies? I just don't. So even as we go through all these different things, and you want to have sex a certain way, and I've heard women say, oh, he ain't doing nothing. Well, sometimes he think you ain't doing nothing either. I know hey, we just gotta be free. And I know if there was some brothers on, they would tell the truth. Just because we're in position on the bed and we're on the receiving end, ladies, sometimes they don't like the experience either. But sometimes they don't tell us. That runs on a two-way street. But when you have substance when you have a substantive relationship,
that's it right there.
Oh my God.
That's it.
You understand?
That's everything.
He can look at you, Sheila, from across the room and you feel something. He ain't even touched you. Right? He can
Love
sit
that.
next to you. When you're
I'm that kind of girl.
You understand what I'm talking about, girl. He can sit next to you when you're going through something, and he doesn't say a word. He doesn't try to kiss you. He doesn't try to hold your hand, but it is his presence.
His presence, the connection, the presence.
Connection that gives you the strength. It all depends on what you value in your relationship.
That's so important.
Value. How you value. And all of the unspoken discussion stuff is all about what you value. From Moraine, who's played by Jasmine. Wave, Jasmine. Jasmine right there. Girl acts her butt off. What is she valuing? Okay, yeah, she's jealous of her husband. She's jealous of his success. But are you not valuing that he's breaking his behind for his family? So that the family, the kids, they all can live a particular type of life. Value him for that and take the jealousy out.
Some women, Lisa, is just not enough.
Right.
You have some women who it goes back to them not having enough for themselves either. It gets really, when you lose that communication and you live with people and don't really know each other.
Right.
It gets messy.
It does get messy. And then what makes it messy too is then it becomes the unspoken discussions, because now it's the discussions that we don't want to have. See, I don't want to talk to you about certain things because I don't know what you might say. So now I'm holding that in. Because marriage and relationships can be a landmine. You understand? It depends on, who you're married to, how, some people like to argue and go through changes. I'm not an arguer. I'm not going through changes with anybody. I like to be civil when we talk. And if we got to go crazy, then I'm just not going to have that discussion. But then when you think of, like, even you, Tammy, in the role that you play, as you play the role Diamond, see, you've come to terms and you've accepted the fact, I don't want to have sex anymore. That's a choice. Am I right?
That is correct. Yes.
That's a choice you made for yourself. Now you will have to find somebody who's okay with the choice. Maybe you might find a man who needs Viagra in order to perform. You might find a man, Tammy, who you might say, listen, you don't have to go through all those changes. I don't need you to take Viagra. I don't want you putting your health at risk. Right. Let's learn how to be intimate. Because I know that there are men out there like that. There's too many men out here. Million. Listen, there are men who've had prostates removed. Can we just be honest? You know what I'm saying? There are men on tons of medication. Those men need to feel that sex is not everything to everybody, that there's somebody who will love them just the way they are. You understand? It doesn't mean that they're less than because they can't perform, because you can be with a man and don't like his performance. Okay, you can have access to that 3-4 times a week and vice versa. Because let me ask you a question, Tammy, and I want to ask all you ladies, and y'all might feel comfortable saying, yes or no. If you was like Lisa Pass, I understand. Would you be with a man, Tammy, who could not perform sexually?
Absolutely, especially if I'm in a place where I
wait a minute. Did you just ask that lady, would she be with a man if he hold on a second. Wait a minute. I gotta come back. Wait a second. Hold on. I heard it through the headphones. I was trying to signal. Wait, with my glasses. I don't even know. I'm all messed up. Did you just ask this lady on live TV?
Yes, she did.
Across the world, forever and ever. Did you just ask this lady that on TV? I heard that.
And she said absolutely.
And she answered it with no problem. She said, absolutely. Yep.
Especially if I'm like Diamond.
Now. Oh Lord, I'm gonna change them, put a different color on for a second. Hold on.
You know why? Let me tell you why I asked Tammy, because I knew I could ask Tammy, and I knew she would have no problem,
you knew who you were talking to. Okay.
Yeah, I knew she wouldn't have a problem with saying. Yeah, now I wouldn't ask Jasmine that.
I'm glad you didn't ask Jasmine James.
I'm not gonna ask Jasmine that. No, Jasmine's a newlywed, so Jasmine's young. She don't have that much life on her yet. When she get our age, I'll ask.
What about Shanice? What about Shanice?
What about the news?
Deborah gonna say no. Deborah gonna say no. He got to be able to do something. he got to be able to hit it to first base, even if he can't do a home run. Is that right, Deborah?
That's right. Slide in the home base.
Oh my God, y'all too much.
Deborah said, "Listen." Deborah said he got to be able to say hello or hey, something.
Hey,
Gotta slide.
something.
Slide in the home base, I'm telling you.
Oh, that was a good one.
Well, Sheila, I know I could ask you that.
No, you can't ask me nothing.
Yes, I can. Well, let me tell you
No
something.
comment.
I'm a comment because I don't mind being honest. I would be with a man who could not perform because the performance has never been everything to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I love intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
I love intimacy over all things. And the intimacy, and that's just because of so much life experience of a lot of hard things to deal in with life. Mm-hmm. So, and that is also because when my mother was dying, and when my father said, I'm healing with that emphasis on here, that meant I'm going to be with you till the floor drop out. I listen.
No, but I was playing around. I was like playing around. But for me, there's certain things that's very important to me, and there's certain things that are not important to me. I'm attracted to intellect. I'm attracted to conversation. I'm attracted to connection before I'm attracted to physical. That's just me. Now, I do have a thing about a man's shoes. You got to have the right shoes. When you look at the man, when you meet a man, this is my thing. Maybe it's a Harlem thing. I don't know. When you look at the man's shoes, got to be that part, Jasmine, right? You got to look at the man. I got a shoe thing, right? I got some shoes tell me a lot about the brother. But as far as what'd you say, Lisa?
He could put the shoes in bed. You all right then, huh? Put them shoes on your pillowcase, boy. So you don't want a man with run over shoes. That's a turn off.
No. He got to be right now. He got to be right. But as far as like the relationship piece of it, I'm more content with companionship, with understanding, with just knowing me, right? Because I'm kind of sort of complicated, so they say, I guess, because there's different colors of me, different sides of me. And so when I find someone that can really just embrace who I am and let me be me, I'm so attracted to that. When no jealousy is in the picture, where you trust me because you know I'm not going here, there, and whatever. The physical thing for me is not first for me. For me as a woman, I know some of my friends back in the day, they'd be like, what? You ain't do what in how long? You what? I'll be like, and some women are just wired different, when it comes to physical. Some women are highly, highly sexual, by no choice of their own, they were wired that way. So it's a big effort for them to refrain and sustain from even being with someone because they don't know what to do with it, right? See, I've never experienced that. So when they get married, they're the type of women too that need to understand and have the mate to understand, because that's very important when you're getting ready to marry. I just counseled someone recently that's getting married, and I asked them, like, in the counseling session, like, what's going to be like when it comes to that part of your life? How active are you, or how active do you expect each other to be? Those are questions sometimes you never get in a session or someone never asks you. And so that means that very important part of people's lives is skipped over, and then they're at the altar, and then 3 months in is trouble because one piece is like, no, I'm not, I don't feel like it. And in the back of the bed, you turn your back and I got a headache and all those other things start popping up. It's already trouble in Denmark. But for Sheila, I love my intimacy is touch and talk and watching Netflix walking in the park, going to a museum, doing things like that. The other piece, it can come in and it's cool, but how I've been wired by him, not me, I ain't do it, so I'm good when I'm not. And if I say right now how long it's been for me on there, y'all probably be like, no way. But I'm not gonna say the number, but let's say it's double digits. You know what I mean?
But you know what, Sheila? But you know
It's
what?
okay. It's okay.
It is
I'm good
okay.
with it. I'm good with it.
Here's something too, Deborah. Let me ask you. Let's see how your phone is doing. And if I say okay, Deborah, that means the phone's messing up. Then we'll just continue to talk.
Okay.
So what do you do though when you're with a man and you've been with him and now his, he has erectile dysfunction? What do you tell him?
That's secondary.
The erectile dysfunction?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. There's so many other things in life that gives one pleasure, I should say. So, that's a nice.
They take a turn.
No, I'm not going. I'm not going there.
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
I'm not going there. No.
I'm turning the corner.
Natural God-given things. Like love.
But let me ask you something. And Jasmine, Jasmine's still young, but it's not even about age, because you can be in your 20s and it is.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with
right.
age. But it's the whole bedroom situation, depending upon who you're with, can be very complicated. Because like I said, sometimes, because listen, what would you do if a man said to you, Deborah, listen, I'm just not, that was all right, but it just wasn't that great. Mm-hmm. I mean, how would we feel as women if they started coming out telling us some things that they don't tell us? Because they're like, one buddy of mine said, I don't say anything because I know if I say it, she's going to start crying, but I don't enjoy it at all. Now, how would you feel if they said that to us? How would you feel if they said that to you?
I'm extremely open, and that's one of the things that
what you mean
I like to discuss.
She using some hot words.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Okay, open-minded.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, woo.
Lisa, you're something else. Starting stuff. I'm extremely open-minded. I like to get to the core of things, and that's one of the things I do when I'm with the guy. I love asking those questions.
I said to you, I said, what would you do if he said to you he did not enjoy it?
Yeah, well, I'm getting to it. This is what, honestly, this is what I would say. If you think that this is going to be an issue in the relationship, then I suggest we just be friends. And that would be it. Because I know who I am as a person.
Wait. What would you do? Wait, Deborah. Tammy, what would you do if you were with a man and he said he just did not enjoy the sex?
Then I can't do nothing for you, honey. And I think that we just be done.
Friends.
Right.
All right. Hey, Jasmine.
Right.
That's all I have time for that.
What would you do, Jasmine? If a man said, now not your husband, so this is in another world, not dealing with your marriage. If a man said to you, I just didn't enjoy it, what would you do?
I would recite Philippians and tell him that we can do all things through Christ.
There you go.
We can work it out.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Christ gonna strengthen us in this area. Just keep on it.
Okay, Sheila, what would you do if you were with a man and he said, listen, I just didn't enjoy it?
I would clutch my pearls.
Right?
I would say, really? First of all, I'd be super shocked, but being that had never been said to me my entire life, you know.
Well, you know
what? What?
If a man said to me, Lisa, I didn't enjoy it, I would ask him, I want you to explain to me what you didn't enjoy.
Yeah, I was getting to that, but go
Right.
ahead.
So,
but you see what Ine said, just on the heels of what you're saying right now. Is the comment up what Ine just said?
what did they just say?
Oh, dang. I would be open to him teaching me how to enjoy me more.
Right.
Right.
Ooh, nice response.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Now, suppose
Janice said, wait a minute, Lisa. Janice said, let's just be friends.
There you go.
okay, well, suppose he were to say, I didn't enjoy it because
Wait, we got to take a pause because it sounds like you're getting ready to hit a bomb here. wait, guys, for the second time, stop.
Pause.
Breathe. Don't reflect. Just breathe. Okay, Lisa. Well,
this girl's an actress. Well, suppose he said, listen, I didn't enjoy it because it just felt strange. And you said, well, what does strange mean? Well, it felt like you were just not responding, like you were just lying there. Now, suppose you're not one of the type of women who make a whole bunch of noise. Would you then say, well, I'm not a noisy type of woman, but, you know, if you want me to holla, I will. Look at Sheila. I mean, you know, because I had a buddy who said to me, hey, Deborah, you know him, our mutual buddy who lives in New York.
Yes.
Yeah, he said he was with somebody one time and they were laying there basically like a board and they didn't say anything. And he was like, well, you can say, you know, because she had made a comment about him basically like he wasn't doing anything. He said basically, well, it's hard to do something when you're with somebody and they're laying here like a corpse. So suppose, because, you know, everybody is different. And in other words, what I'm saying, what other words I want to ask all of you all, are you open to his criticism without becoming offended? Without becoming offended.
Some people can do this. A lot of women can't, honestly. Some women can receive it. Again, I say it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Exactly.
And, you know, you handle it with kid gloves and you think about what you're going to say to me before you say it. It'll fall on you. It'll fall. You know.
Well, are you open to criticism, Tammy?
Yes, I would be open. And again, you know, I'm thinking I need to know in this situation, what type of relationship do we have? Is this a relationship where I've been with someone 6 months, a year? I mean, I think I would have to be vested. And if it was a long relationship, I'd have to be vested enough in it in order to be open to criticism. Now, if it was just, you know, 2-3 months in, bye. But if we were like in a relationship trying to build upon something,
wait a minute, you said bye.
Yeah, if it was just 2 or 3 months, you know what I mean? I think it just depends on how long of a relationship this is and how much I've gotten, you know, that I've got vested into it. But I would be open, you know what I mean? If this was a long term, and we're not talking marriage, I'm thinking of just relationship, just, you know, dating somebody, getting to know them. I think I would be open if we'd been in it for quite a while, you know, in the relationship for a while.
What about you, Deborah?
Oh, that's very complicated. time is a factor. And I just feel that if it got to that point where he really felt that that was going to be an issue, and it was very important to him that that be rectified, I would want us to be friends and for him to find someone else. Because I wouldn't, I'm not a selfish person, but I really wouldn't want to spend so much effort in trying to please someone in such an area of life that really consists of maybe anywhere from a half an hour to an hour.
Well, here these things, and I know Sheila got to get ready to close.
Hold on, ladies. Hold on, Lisa. Hold on, Lisa. There's a serious reverb on you, and Shanice is still choppy, but trying to hear if it's coming out of that way. Lisa, talk again.
Well, Sheila, we getting ready to close though. And let me just say something so that we can, because we've been on almost 2 hours. Thank you so much, Sheila. I hope everybody will go on YouTube and look at Unspoken Discussion Her. And we appreciate everybody who's tuned in. I hope everybody will share this link. And we're going to turn it over to Miss Sheila so she can close out her show. Hey, girl, say thank you to Sheila.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Had a ball. We have to do it again.
No, hold on. Let's keep going to mute. Okay,
Wait,
there you go. I have a double sound as well, so we're not going to prolong it. Thank you so much. My sister Lisa. Once again, bravo to you and your writing and your team and all that you're doing. I'm sure that you guys will be back again.
Yes.
So thank you so much for the chat. Thank you guys up in the bleachers. Thank you so much for being here. Sheila, is an echo when they start walking. I don't know. Anyway. Thanks, cousin. This was a great conversation. Everyone in the chat is saying great. And you guys did so awesome. This was funny, and educational. What is the highlight thing that I learned? The PP. Yes. I will never forget that again. So listen, guys. Y'all just do this. Stay right there. Don't leave while I close the show. All right, wonderful people. It's been awesome. Thank you, and May, my incredible moderator. All of you who have been here, hung out with us. This was the longest show I think I've ever done, which was wonderful. Had a good time. So, I think I'll do a soft close. But let me drop this. You know what? Let's go. Stay right there, ladies. Stay right there. I don't care about the echo. We should have Jasmine sing us out. You thought I forgot you?
Oh, no, we shouldn't.
I know. One day, Jasmine, one day.
Jasmine can sing.
That she can. Okay, we to leave, and I don't know what happened. Thank God we got through the show before this started. I love you guys. Stay well. I don't know if you hear the outro, but there it is. Can you hear it?
Yes, you can.
Bye.